The air in the silver spur saloon hung thick with the scent of stale beer and apprehension. Jedediah Stone, Marshal of Copper Canyon, nursed a lukewarm coffee, his joints protesting the damp chill that had settled over the Arizona territory. Roan Davies, or rather, what was left of him after a fever had ravaged his mind, had been found near a scraggly juniper, babbling about a valley, spirits, and a woman named Elara Thorne. He was ranting about gold, Harding said, wiping sweat from his brow. Apache gold. Claimed it was hidden in a valley, protected by ****. He glanced nervously towards the window as if expecting Elara Thorne to materialize. Jedediah's gaze followed his. Elara's camp, a stark contrast to the rough-hewn buildings of Copper Canyon, overlooked the town. Her presence was a constant reminder of the unease that had gripped the town since Silas Blackwood's death. Something was right. He felt it in his bones, a cold certainty that ran deeper than the rumors surrounding Elara Thorne, rumors of ancient knowledge, magic, and a connection to the land that predated the arrival of the white man. A valley? Jedediah rumbled, his voice rough from lack of sleep. What valley? Somewhere north, near the Mobile and Rim, Harding replied, consulting a crudely drawn map found near Davies. He kept repeating, the Valley of Whispers, said it was guarded by ***. Caleb Blackwood, his face red and swollen with grief and fury, slammed his fists on the table. Lies! All lies! My uncle was a shrewd businessman, not some fool chasing phantom gold. Easy, Caleb, Jedediah said, his hand instinctively moving towards his holster. Roan Davies was sick, his mind was addled. He was on to something, Caleb insisted, his voice trembling. Silas was close. He suspected Thorne. Suspected what? Jedediah pressed. That she was using him, manipulating him. Something about the quartz vein map. Caleb trailed off, agitated. He was going to expose her. Jedediah recalled Silas Blackwood's last days. The man haunted, paranoid, obsessed with something he couldn't quite grasp. He's also remembered Silas' words about finding answers in an old mine shaft near the rim. I need to see that map, Jedediah said, turning to Harding, and I want everyone who spoke to Davies to come forward. Later that evening, under the pale light of the moon, Jedediah rode toward the Mobile and Rim. The landscape was harsh, unforgiving, the silence broken only by the creak of his saddle and the occasional hoot of an owl. He found the juniper where Davies had been found. A fated, almost invisible trail led north. Following the trail, he reached the entrance to an abandoned mine shaft, partially obscured by overgrown brush. The air was heavy with the smell of damp earth and decay. He dismounted, secured his horse, and entered the shaft, his Colt peacemaker drawn. The shaft was dark, the silence absolute. He lit a lantern, the flickering light revealing walls lined with quartz, glittering like a constellation of tiny stars. He noticed fresh markings on the walls, symbols he recognized from old Yavapai stories. Symbols of protection, of power, symbols connected to Elara Thorne. Deeper inside the shaft he found it, a map carved into the quartz wall, remarkably detailed. It depicted a valley nestled between towering mesas, a valley he recognized from Davies's descriptions. The Valley of Whispers, marked on the map with a single elegant symbol, was a location deep within the valley, a cave, its entrance obscured by a waterfall. As he examined the map, a noise echoed from the depths of the shaft, a soft rustling, like someone moving in the darkness. He spun around, his hand hovering over his holster. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice echoing through the cavern. Silence. Then a voice, soft and melodic, answered him. "You shouldn't be here, Marshal Stone." He turned slowly, his lantern illuminating a figure standing in the shadows. It was Elara Thorne. She stood silently, her expression unreadable, a Yavapai amulet glinting around her neck. "What are you doing here, Thorne?" Jedediah asked, his voice carefully controlled. "Protecting what is mine," she replied, her eyes fixed on the map. "This land belongs to my people, Marshal, and you trespass." "This map Davies found it," Jedediah said, nodding towards the quartz wall. "He was looking for gold." Elara Thorne smiled, a brief, unsettling expression that didn't reach her eyes. "Gold is a distraction, Marshal. This valley holds something far more valuable, something you cannot comprehend." "What is it?" Jedediah pressed. "A balance," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The connection to the ancient ways. Something you cannot understand or control." She paused, her gaze fixed on his. "Turn back, Marshal. Your presence here disturbs the spirits." As quickly as she had appeared, she vanished back into the shadows, leaving Jedediah alone in the echoing darkness of the mine shaft. He knew with a churn certainty that this was far from over. He's also noticed someone else standing by the entrance of the mine. "Who are you?" Jedediah asked. The figure was a thin, dark man who seemed to fade into the shadows. A friend, the man whispered, and a warning. She protects the valley, but something else lurks within. The man disappeared before Jedediah could speak, leaving the Marshal alone. He left the mine. Back in Copper Canyon, the feeling of being watched intensified. The town, already simmering with tension, felt on the verge of exploding. Jedediah knew that he was caught in a web of secrets, ancient powers, and hidden agendas. He looked towards Elara's camp, perched above the town. Something was coming. He just didn't know what, but he knew he had to be ready.